we cannot let today go by without ending on a real positive note. And bearing in mind all of the negativity earlier surrounding Owen Farrell, understandably, I think it's important just to recognise we're weeks away from a World Cup. We've got a sport that needs a bit of uplift and a bit of positivity surrounding it, and we've got it in the shape of Siya Kolisi today, who has been named to start and captain South Africa, coming back miraculously after a really serious injury. I didn't think we'd see him, and here he is. And I really hope now he can not only pass this test, he can stay fit to lead the Springbok side, because when I said earlier that I want to see the best players involved in a Rugby World Cup, I meant that in the case of Owen Farrell. I don't agree with the disciplinary panel's decision today, but I do want to see Owen Farrell at a World Cup because he's one of the best players in the world. Same goes for Johnny Sexton. I thought his ban probably should have been longer for the offence that he did, but I'm really glad he's at the Rugby World Cup. The same goes for Xander Fagerson of Scotland. I'm really glad he's going to be available for that first game against South Africa. And Siya Kolisi is one of those characters who transcends rugby. We don't have many superstars. He is one of them. And he is a rugby superstar, a global superstar in our sport, and an incredible man. And I had the absolute pleasure of meeting him. It was at the World Rugby Awards in Monaco in 2018. And I wish I'd known then what Siya Kolisi would go on and do a year later and what he would go on and become, because I'd have taken much better pictures of me with him, to be honest. But what a lovely man. What a fantastic rugby player. What a great ambassador for the sport. And he's back in a Springbok team, which, let's have a look at the team. And I don't know what you think. Again, I can't really put the pictures up on the screen. I'd like to. I'm on away visiting family down in Devon at the minute, as you can tell. I'm by the sea. It's lovely, isn't it? But you can have a look at the team yourself. I'm just having a little bit of a natter about the South African team, who look very close, I don't know what you think, to a strongest 15, with a few exceptions. And after the sort of surprise about the South African squad, when you look at that team, you go, my goodness, they're pretty handy. So how far off a first choice 15 is this? What changes would you make to make this the strongest possible South African team? Leave your comments, tell me what you think, and see if you compare it to mine. I say kits off Marks and Malherbe, full ball, front row, love it. Love seeing Malcolm Marks starting. I just think he's an absolute beast. Kleyn and Snyman. I'd say Snyman's on track to be starting in the second row with Etzebeth. He's one of the few that you bring into this team. But I suppose Kleyn's got an opportunity, so is Ori, but I don't know what you think. Snyman as Etzebeth's partner for me. In the back row then, so good to see Kolisi there. And I think South Africa need it. I think they've been lacking a bit of leadership. Those decisions on when to kick for the corner, when to take points, just to calm things down when they were up against it. For example, in that New Zealand game. And then Peter Steph Toy is obviously going to play, maybe not been playing at his best, but I'm sure he will get back to form. And then number 8, that's one of the slots that's up for grabs. It looks like it's Dwayne Vermeulen's shirt, doesn't it? But Jasper Wiese, we know what he's capable of. I've watched him in English rugby. I've been working on English rugby for years, and that guy is an absolute wrecking ball. And he can be a real force, and he needs to go and prove it. So I think Jacques Nienaber and Rassie Erasmus are saying, go and earn that shirt. And I think the same is true in the 9 jersey as well. Jaden Hendrickse, one of 3 players making their first appearance this year, which is a massive boost for South Africa, along with Siya Kolisi and along with Oxen Che as well, who's appearing on the bench. But Jaden Hendrickse starting at 9. I think that could be his shirt for the World Cup. Faf de Klerk, not been quite the Faf de Klerk from 4 years ago. And Hendrickse has got time to fill that jersey. Maybe by the end of the World Cup, he could be South Africa's starting number 1. What do you make of that? It's an interesting call. That's one of the places. Obviously, the back line looks fairly settled, doesn't it? The wing is the one slot. Who are going to be South Africa's starting wingers? I can't call it, you know. I don't know. Do they need a big guy and a little guy? Can you have Kurt-Lee Arendse and Colby? Or do you need the added height and the extra dynamic that Moody brings? Is it going to be 2? It's going to be 2, you'd think, from Colby, Kurt-Lee Arendse and Moody, but which two? Man, they've got a strong team. They really have. And for all the bonkers elements of their squad selection, lack of fly half backup and stuff, they're a serious team. And, well, they're going to be a big test for Wales as well. I don't know, is this too big a injury risk for Siya Kolisi? Would you throw him straight back into start? I imagine he's only going to play maybe half a game, 50 minutes. But the fact he's out on the pitch at all is miraculous. And like I say, given all the negativity today surrounding Owen Farrell, understandably, well, let's just be clear on that, by the way. The negativity shouldn't be aimed at Owen Farrell. It should be aimed at the World Rugby disciplinary process, which has been shown to be odd, to say the least. But I want all the best players available at a Rugby World Cup. Siya Kolisi is one of them, and one real big positive to end the day on. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. Even when I'm away on holiday, bringing you rugby content because I love it that much. And if you appreciate it, you can hit like, leave your comment and subscribe.